Definitely this one.
What's his name? Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski. Like dead
Ash
ass.
Wazowski. I don't even see your face.
Now I'm really in space with this alien outfit.
I can't.
And y'all are just gonna have to. I have to eat. Like it's my time to eat.
It's your time. It's your time. Are we going? Are we ready?
Yeah,
we're ready. Let's go.
It's on. It's on.
What is up, guys? We are back with episode 2 of Bikini Babe Shooting the Shit. It is Marissa Wu here with Ashlyn Little and Jazzy Fresh.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, yo. Oh, there goes my gallon. There goes. There goes. There goes. Well, today we are just going to do a bunch of Q&As because honestly, y'all just asked so many questions and we want to get back to all of you, but we also have a time limit on here. So today, let's just go through it all. How have you guys been? How's it? It's been a few days since I've seen you, Ashlyn, and a few minutes since I've talked to you, Jazzy.
Has it been 24 hours? First of all, we need to address the fact that we really missed you this weekend, Jazzy. We're so sad. We did not have your energy and your presence to grace us, but you were there.
So you owe us a whole weekend. So
I know.
come to the West Coast. Like, why'd you move away from me?
I lived in San Diego for 2 whole years and saw you once.
We lived in San Diego for 2 to 3 years and just now started hanging out. And it took you moving across the country for us to hang out. It's fine.
Swear to God.
Playing hard to get. It's
I feel like whenever you move apart from somebody, it's almost like you try to see them more.
You try extra.
The same area, but then like once y'all are together, like in the same area, it's like, oh, I'll see her later. So you always push it off.
I swear to God.
It's because we're such hermits. We're like in our little house and we're like, it's too hard to go see you 2 seconds away.
I know, dead ass. I'm like, the most I drive is the gym.
What did you do this week? Go to the gym? Is that what you did?
Yeah, what'd you do? What'd you do not hang out with us?
I really just trained, did prep shit. You know, I'm in prep. So I'm like, you know, for me, the first couple of weeks, I like to literally like completely isolate and not do shit because I'm like,
I gotta get in the zone.
Groove. I'm trying to get in my groove, you know, kind of got out of like the routine of like everything to a T and all of that. So I like to, when I get back into prep, just kind of like kickstart it by just being like hella isolated from just like going out doing anything. So I just get back and
honestly, it takes me a solid 4 to 6 weeks to really get into the routine of things. It's like an adjustment. The like first 4 weeks are the hardest for me.
And it's like not just like the training, cardio, nutrition. That's a given. That's
easy.
But it's like doing your vacuums, doing your stretching, doing your warm-ups for your workouts, because your warm-ups really freaking matter when you're in prep, you know, to actually get the most out of your workout versus just going in there doing like a warm-up and then getting to training. Like I really, you know what I'm saying? Like I used to just do a couple like kickbacks and
you're like, I'm warm.
Like,
we're good.
Okay.
Going.
We're ready to go. Actually, like get warmed up. Like I literally feel so stiff every single time I go to the gym. I'm just like, dude, why do I feel like I got ran over by a bus? I don't understand.
Dude.
I'm freezing 99% of the time. Like I have the heater on hella high. When I get to the gym, like right now, look what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Hey, I got you those.
Cold.
Yeah. Dude, I'm freezing right now.
But dead ass, I'm like those things like stretching and shit and warming up, because the other day, like I got my new program from Jamie, and so I'm doing a whole different like glute workout, and you know, just B stance hip thrusts, and you know,
oh my god,
that flexion at the top.
On like that one glute.
My hips
cramps.
My hips are so tight. My hip flexors. When I went to just start going, I was like, nah, bitch, you gotta warm up. Like I had
you gotta warm up.
2 to 3 like good like warm up sets to actually start to just feel it in the glute versus like my tight ass hip flexors that don't want to like actually do a full hip extension. It's crazy. I'm like, so I'm like, I just need to isolate, get myself back in the groove to like be like, how much time do I need to allow myself at the gym to really be effective?
Basically, what we're trying to say is that we're getting fucking old, okay?
Essentially, we need to give ourselves more time.
Can we just not? Gosh.
Yes. I'm like, yo, what the hell? I used to be able to just go up in the gym,
go
like,
let's
in start. There. I'm like,
no rest days. I'm like, I got this. Now I'm like, when's my next rest day? Oh my God.
I need a foam roll. I need to do all this. Like, I
literally look forward to my rest days now because I'm just like, I need this so bad. Like today's my rest day. So I'm just like chilling. I went and got my Botox done. I am just doing cardio.
Show us your face with that Botox.
Hold on.
No, wait, no, we can't see you because of the eye.
My big eye is in the way. My big ass fucking eye is in the way. It's fine.
Your eye is on the prize for this prep. The eye.
This eye is on the prize.
Oh man. But how was your weekend, guys? Like your little birthday weekend,
it was so good. It was fun. So and that's something I think we can start off with is just how you can go out and enjoy events being on prep, whether it's your birthday, whether you're prepping to the holidays or there's family events. And that's exactly what Ash and I did. We had a fun time in Vegas. We didn't do what normal people do in Vegas. We didn't go to the clubs or go out. We enjoyed a nice dinner with our friends and we went to Cirque du Soleil, enjoyed a nice show. Next day we went to the gym and it was everything that we wanted to do for our birthday celebration.
Oh my gosh, y'all are gonna laugh. So I had a conversation today with Jamie on the phone. And she was like telling me, how fun it looked. And she's like, I'm so sad I didn't get to come. Like, and I'm like, I know. And of course it was last minute. So like, we knew a lot of people weren't going to be able to show up, but she told me, she was like, literally, she got so many messages from her clients and just people on the team, like looking at our stuff. Like they really thought that we like were drinking and eating and partying. Like they really thought that we were on prep doing that stuff. And they were like asking Jamie about it. And Jamie was like, no. They just did that for the pictures. They weren't doing anything bad. Like they literally, but like, that's what it looks like. Like it did look like we were like,
but
just
y'all were getting lit.
Lit
and
the time of our life.
It's like we literally went and got like food, but the cake, obviously the other people ate, we just did for the pictures. And then Marissa brought like, we just got water and coffee, but in the water, we put like a couple drops of like, she has another one too. It's like stevia based or whatever.
Hold on, let me get it so people can see.
Yeah, so we got that and I put it and I was like, wow, people are gonna think I'm drinking alcohol because it's colored.
Literally, and that's the other thing. It was just like we looked like we were like wilding out as this guy right here, the stevia one. Ash uses this one more because it's better for her stomach. And like people were like, "Oh my god, what are you guys doing? Where are you guys going?" I was like, a steakhouse and a show, and I'm fine with that. And honestly, we felt like we were hungover the next day because we went to bed late and we didn't drink enough water. We were all like, oh my god,
like I'm dehydrated.
I need my gallon of
water. That was literally our hangover, not getting enough sleep and water. So fucking funny. But yeah, it was a good time. But we need to redo the celebration when we're with you.
Yes.
And then you guys are gonna be together this weekend.
I know. I cannot wait this weekend.
I know. I'm really excited.
There's so much happening. There's so much happening coming up, like seminars.
There's no rest. There's no pause for this industry, the sport.
No.
Whether you're competing or not competing.
Posing workshops, freaking. We got the communications report training at the end of February.
Yes. That's when we're all going to be together.
Yes. Yeah. I know. That's going to be fun. I talked to Jamie about it today and I was like, I asked her because I told her, I'm like, I'm a little bit scarred from the first one. I told her, I was like, it's a little scary. And she started dying laughing. She was like, you were not scarred. I was like, I was a little scarred. I'm like, I'm better.
You didn't
now.
tell her first off, but you were scarred.
I'm like, no, like obviously it's an incredible experience to be able to go through something like that. And it really does teach you like about your own self, like stuff that you didn't even know you were capable of doing, which I think is really cool because it does put you in really uncomfortable situations that really does make you level up, like being a leader. Like that's what it's for. It's a leadership program. So like it does help you be able to, you know, work up to just being in those uncomfortable situations, being able to basically handle anything that you know, a company is going to throw at you, whether it's, you know, let's just say your clients, for example, or if you have to manage a company or whatever, it's like you're always going to be put in some uncomfortable situation at some point. So being able to handle that stuff, but it was really uncomfortable. So I just told her, I'm like, I just hope it's not like that. And she started dying laughing. She's like, it's totally different. So I'm really excited because she said it's.
I think it's different because it's all of us are going to. So
yeah,
it's not just you by yourself.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Okay, let's do some questions. All right. Let me sift through. Okay, Jazzy got this question. Let's start with, how do you stop the urge of cravings on prep, and have you ever cheated on your diet?
Oof.
Maybe my first prep. Okay, like my first
Me too.
one or two-ish preps, like first 2 shows I was going into. Maybe my first one, yeah. Like my thing was peanut butter. Like so many people.
I think everyone has a peanut butter phase.
The worst is like, you know, I just I don't know what it was in my head. I would like measure it out, good to go, but something in me said it was okay. It was okay to scrape the rim, like the top, and it didn't count.
The non-liquid part, it was like chewy.
It's just a little bit on the rim.
Oh my god!
I'm scraping lower and lower.
The bottom of the tub.
Dead ass, like
literally. I think we've all had that. Like, for me, it was my first prep ever. Is the only time I cheated on my diet because mentally, you're not really aware of if you're hungry, if you're craving. You don't know how to decipher that, and I think that's the first prep where it's like a lot of people get into it and they don't realize like your mental grit needs to be a lot tougher than your ghrelin. Like your ghrelin's gonna tell you you're hungry. Your body's in a deficit, so you have to mentally be able to separate that. But girl, my first prep, I did like 5 shows in one season. And I think after my 3rd show, I was just ravenous. And once I went in, I just started going in. And I texted my mom, and my mom goes, "What the hell are you doing? You have a show in like 3 weeks." I was like, "Okay, mom, I'm sorry. And then I texted my coach and I told him, and I was like, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry."
No.
Dude, it was so weird. So like I've honestly, I'll be honest, I've always had something. Like it's either like 1 extra rice cake or 20 more grams of rice, like little things like that I've done. Yes. And
I thought she was gonna say 1 extra rice cake or 20 more rice cakes. I was like, that's a big difference.
No, like 20 grams of like rice extra, like little things like that. Yeah. But it's more of like a mental thing. Like even though it's probably not gonna affect me, it's just mental for me. Like I just know like, oh my gosh, if I get, you know, if I just have like 1 more extra rice cake, it's not going to be bad. And like, I do know that you should not be doing that. Like everything needs to be to the T, like to the gram, to the T, like it should be. But I always tell my athletes, if you are going to do something, I'd rather it be that, because my very first prep, I would cheat with ice cream, which is like, what? Like out of all things, like I would literally at night when my mom would go to sleep, because I still live with my mom, when my mom would go to sleep, because she eats whatever she wants, and she's tiny. She's like 5'3" and she weighs like 100 pounds, 120 pounds, barely. Like, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's so freaking little, and she just eats whatever she wants. And so she always had ice cream, and that was my weakness, like because I didn't come from like a bodybuilding background. I never came from like, you know, before I started bodybuilding, I didn't come from anything. So in my house, there was nothing healthy. Everything was always just like whatever we felt like eating. So we always had stuff. We always had snacks. We always had desserts, all that stuff. So for me, being able to like put that away was the hardest part for me at the very first. And my diet was so bad. It was like, I would be eating tilapia and vegetables in the morning, like literally from morning to night. It was like the worst diet you could possibly have. And it's like your basic, like, this is going to get you lean diet. Like that's literally what it was. There was no like strategic or anything behind it. It was literally just like, here's no food, eat it and you'll get lean type of thing. And so, and for that being my first prep, like I was miserable, obviously, like I didn't know what to expect. And I was like, wow, this sucks. So when my mom would go to bed, I would literally go into the kitchen and take like spoonfuls, probably like 5 or 6 spoonfuls of ice cream. And I would go back to sleep.
Isn't it funny? It's like, cause I had roommates and it was when they like went to bed and it's like, they could give 2 shits about what we do in our diet. But like we waited till someone went to bed because we were like, I don't want anyone to know.
I don't want anyone to know. I was so embarrassed. And even my mom doesn't give a shit. She didn't
I know my mom was just like, what are you doing? Okay. But no, it's like I do feel like it's, and I think people like, as long as you communicate, like I tell my clients like, hey, if you feel like you're about to cave in, text me. Like that's why you have my number. Like let me tell you, like I think there's a book, it's like it's something about like when you like black out and you just eat, like it's a mental
people
thing.
Do that all the time.
Yeah. So it's just about like actually deciphering that. And I guess that segues into like, what do we do when we have cravings on prep? Honestly, I like my prep food. You have to find like what seasonings you like and how to prepare your food so that you don't utterly hate it.
Well, that was my problem, is that first of all, I didn't know you were allowed to have salt or sodium at all. So every single one of my seasonings was awful. And it was just like
zero everything.
I purposely made my food like shit because I thought you had to. Like I literally was like, the shittier the food is, the better results you're gonna get. Like that's literally what I thought.
Tilapia and Mrs. Dash.
Oh, that was literally me.
Literally me too. 6 meals a day.
Mrs. Dash to start with. They're like, no salt. I'm like, no, you need salt.
You need salt.
Literally no salt.
You need salt. Be salt based, okay?
And I didn't have somebody there like telling me like what's right and wrong and stuff like that. Like it was just like I kind of just guessed, and you know, it's like it really, I don't know, it just sucked. But definitely have I cheated on my diet before? Of course. I feel like that even if you're eating something that's healthy and it's over your macros, or if it's, you know, over your plan, whatever you have, I do that. I mean, that technically is cheating, even if it's like good food, because you're not supposed to be eating more than what you're intaking. And yeah, I mean, of course. And then obviously if you communicate that with your coach and they're able to, you know, at least know what you're doing and be able to adjust the program properly, so that way you're still continuing to make the results, then it should be fine. But obviously that should not be something you're doing every day. If you cave one time out of your prep, is that going to hurt your prep? Probably not, you know. But it's just one of those things where it's like, if you can avoid that at all costs, you definitely want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what do we do? Like, what do we do if we like have cravings and stuff? I mean, just honestly, I drink coffee, or I literally will have like, honestly, I'll have like a diet soda, because even though I know that'll bloat me the next day, it gets rid of my cravings and I know the bloat will go away, you know, the next day. So it's like, that's just something that mentally helps me, because it keeps me full whenever I have something carbonated. So but I do make sure that I hit all of my water for that day. I'm not like substituting, you know, other drinks for water. Like I hit my water every day, the exact amount that it needs to hit. Plus, if I want to have a drink, then, you know, I'll have whatever it is, that like carbonated drink or whatever, diet soda.
Yeah. I do decaf coffee like all day. Like I just like the taste of coffee. So decaf, I'll probably have like 3 decafs or 4 decafs a day. But I know Ash doesn't like this, but I love sweet egg whites. Like I will put cinnamon and stevia in my egg whites. I'll make it slightly burnt and crispy, and that gets my sweetness out of the way. You know what? It helps me stick to my plan. Okay.
Exactly. Everybody has
that's my craving.
You know what? Everybody has their thing. And it's not that I hate them. I just don't prefer them. I prefer my eggs to be salty. But it just, everybody has their thing. Like I like, I like the cucumbers. So like cucumbers with stevia or cinnamon, or even the Jolly Rancher.
That
Starburst, like little packets you can just pour on top. Like that tastes like you're just eating fruit and there's no calories. So that's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Cucumbers save lives. Okay, let's go in. Okay, I really like this question. I got this from someone. But I was telling you guys, it's funny because my dad actually has asked me this multiple times, but will you only ever date a bodybuilder? My dad, after my last relationship, which was a bodybuilder, and I don't just mean like an open bodybuilder, like someone who competes.
Yeah.
My dad was like, "Are you only ever gonna talk to a guy or date a guy who does bodybuilding?" And it took me a second because it's not a vanity thing at all. It's about having a person who understands my lifestyle and who doesn't have to question, why do I go to the gym X amount of hours a day? Why am I doing so much cardio? Why are we not going on vacation or going out to dinner dates? Someone who's going to understand me and not question me. But I mean, give me your guys' little take on that. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
You want to go first, Jazz?
Crickets. Yeah. Crickets.
You know, like, I don't think I'd just you know, exclude any person, like you said, just somebody that at least understands. I would definitely want somebody who's probably like involved, like knows about the industry or knows about bodybuilding, not just somebody who understands just my lifestyle. I want them to kind of like be like, oh, I understand this about this or that. Like, just doesn't have to be so deep like you compete or anything like that. However, if you've like followed the industry, followed the sport, you know, I think that's like for me what I would say. But I wouldn't just be like, no, I would never date anybody other than a bodybuilder. They just have to understand the lifestyle, but they don't have to like adopt it, essentially. But I could not be dating somebody who like, you know, is on the far end, like goes
like
out,
who didn't care,
parties, does all that stuff. Like if you're constantly like out all the time, like I don't do that. Like I don't do that for fun. I like to be home. So like, yeah, I don't know.
They need to mesh with you for sure. And I actually, like, after my last relationship, I actually did say I wasn't going to date anybody in the industry.
And here we are.
So, you know, it's definitely one of those things where I was so torn because everything that you guys are saying, I 100% feel like I want them to understand that this is my life. This is my lifestyle. I travel a lot for work, for competing, and it's just something that I'm extremely involved in. And I want them to understand that part of it. And there are guys out there that do understand that aren't in the bodybuilding industry. So, you know, I did kind of feel like maybe I can find that for me. Obviously Dom, you know, fell in my lap, and it was really unexpected. I was not expecting to get into a relationship this quick, or to fall in love with somebody as fast as I did. You know, but it's just one of those things where me and Dom are so similar and so on the same page about so many things in life, not just our jobs. He is also a coach. And, you know, he's been doing this for a long time, and he's also a competitor. He is an open bodybuilder. And, you know, it's like one of those things where he is just an athlete. He has an athlete's mindset. And I just wanted somebody that had that same mentality that I had, as far as like goal oriented and all of those things. So that was something that was extremely important to me. And when I just saw like how passionate he is about so many things that I'm passionate about. And it just clicked, you know. And I just feel like that when you find somebody that it just freaking clicks, and y'all are on the same wave with so many things, and you don't even have to try, that's whenever I'm like, this is it. Like, this is what it should be. I can't stress that enough. Like, if you're constantly going back and forth with your significant other about stuff that you're passionate about and that you love and that makes you happy, you're just going to keep clashing. It's never going to work.
Exactly.
It's never going to work, like, ever.
You're
going to do that for the rest of your life, and it just is what it is. So it's just one of those things where you have to decide what is the most important thing to you, and that's pretty much it. And then if y'all are still not on the same page, then peace.
Yeah, it's a unique lifestyle, especially, you know, being a woman, you know, in this industry, like trying to find a partner, you know, whether it be male or female, whatever's your preference. However, if we're talking like in our scenarios, you know, being attracted to men, it definitely is harder to find men who accept a woman who does something like this. It's very like, say, it could be vanity, it could be very, you're about your looks, or you've got a huge following, or you've got a following and people follow your journey and people are liking your pictures, or guys are probably reaching out to you and stuff, and you don't know how to maybe explain that to somebody who probably isn't as invested in the industry, or somebody who may have like insecurity issues. There's a lot of things that can happen, like especially being a female in this. I have a couple of clients who, you know, are dealing with that with their own spouses. Like I had a client who told me recently that she was going through separation because her, you know, husband just was not accepting of this. She stepped away from it. She actually was like, you know, for the sake of the relationship, she stepped away from competing, from actually pursuing it. And she's like, she just felt more miserable, more not herself. And she really had to get into it. And she's like, they made a compromise. Like if she works and pays for it, she'll like, you know, be the one to be able to compete if she does that. But he still gave a hassle, like kind of like through remarks. That's what's going to happen. And you don't want to deal with something like that at the end of the day.
And it's like, we don't want to scare anyone away from competing. If you're new to this and you have a husband who's, you know, obviously not in the sport, and now you're getting into it, you know, after the relationship started, we don't want to scare you away from that, but it is reality of expectations. When you do start showing your body off, primarily for us three, we do it because we work very hard and we want to show our progress, as well as help our clients, show them what we can do and how they can achieve those goals. And that's our objective when we do show our physiques off. Now, some men might see that as sexual, and there's a huge line that you do have to, like, that you cross depending on how you portray yourself. And I do think some men get really jealous, and that's again the communication part that goes into it. So if you're already in a relationship, kind of giving them a forecast of what to expect when you start competing. And then obviously if you are, you know, looking for a significant other within this industry, just, you know, like what you were saying, if I was with a guy and he got a bunch of DMs from girls or comments on his photos, that doesn't faze me, because I get the same from guys, but I know it doesn't mean anything. It's just a bunch of people behind a screen trying to get attention. So it's just kind of deciphering that.
In this industry, you do have to be extremely secure, like with yourself, with your significant other. And if you're not in any, whether you're in this industry or not, if you're not secure with yourself, or if you're not secure with, you know, your relationship or whatever, that's something that you need to work on, because you're never going to find happiness if you're constantly scared and you're constantly, you know, worried that something is going to happen, because you have to have that trust factor. Like the trust has to be there in any relationship, whether you are, you know, just competing, or if you are literally a nobody at all and you don't compete at all, it doesn't matter. You need to have that trust there, and you need to have that security there. So if not, that's definitely something that you would need to work on outside of competing. But competing does bring out a lot of insecurities and for a lot of people and a lot of relationships. So it's definitely something that, you know, you just have to consistently work on with your significant other. If that's something that, you know, if this is something you want to do and you're serious about it, and you just want to let them know, like, I want to do this for me and my goals. It has nothing to do with like trying to like show off my body to get attention from, you know, other guys or other girls.
It's like what you're saying, like the trust factor is like, okay, what are you entertaining? Like if my significant other, you know, trust me, I'm not going to entertain guys who slide through the DMs or comment on my photos. You post what you want to post, you show what you want to show, but just let them know, okay, these are like your significant other. This is my intention to show my hard work. You have nothing to worry about.
Exactly. And the thing is, like on that end, like if you're somebody who's not in a relationship and you're a single female who competes, it may make you more attracted to somebody who is in the industry, because it's easier for that person to understand your lifestyle. I have kind of you know, going out now, being single and like talking and dating, you know, it's definitely easier to relate to somebody who is within the industry, who understands as a, you know, a female talking to a man, versus I've talked to, you know, a couple guys where you try to explain it and they seem a little puzzled or just don't understand the whole need to like share your progress and stuff like that. So like it's already a question in their head, and me, I'm like, I don't even want to waste my time having to explain.
I don't want to
bullshit to you.
No, but I feel the same way. It's like being single in this industry. Like I'm not necessarily dating. I'm not really talking to anyone either. It's just if I do decide to talk to someone, it's like it skips like 10 extra steps if they're already in this industry, because they're gonna know, hey, we can only go to coffee or movie. So what?
And then you have that one thing where it's like you can't even have a bite. It's like, get away from me.
No. Or can I have a bite of that? No.
I made this.
Or they just come over and they're just like,
you're cut off.
Like, get away.
We broke up before we even started.
Get out of my house.
You're past that dating life now, Ash. You're tied in. So it's just you and me, Jazzy.
Yeah, we out here.
We out here. All right, let's go. Let's see. There's lots of questions. Okay. Let's talk about post-show. We all got a lot of questions about how you deal with post-show blues, post-show cravings, how you reverse body dysmorphia, all that good stuff. I personally, I'm still mastering this. It doesn't come easy. Definitely my first post show was the hardest. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew a little bit of, that we should be reversing, because that was kind of the thing on social media, make sure that you reverse properly. And that was the biggest thing with coaches, and it still is, but you just don't understand it till you're in it. And body dysmorphia is a real thing. And, you put the scale starts going up and it creeps up and you're losing the lines and the conditioning, and it scares you because you're like, I worked so hard for this and now it's all gone. But something that I learned over time is you have to have a game plan. Don't just wing it, especially post show, but also, be okay that you're not going to be stage lean all the time, 365 days. You have to get away from that so they can get back to homeostasis, so that you can have a regular cycle. You can be at a regular body fat, so you don't feel like complete shit every day. But
I was talking about this with Adrienne the other day, because she's in her off season right now, one of my clients, and she gets really lean. She's always been really lean. Even whenever she started with me, she's always been really lean. And this is the biggest and heaviest that she's ever been, but the judges want to see her bigger, and they told her she needed to put on size. So we're going through a building phase, and you will never, ever, 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 ever look at your body the same way again once you get stage lean, ever.
Yeah.
So that will automatically change the way that you look at your body. And that's just something you have to mentally know going into a show. When your body changes that much and you see what you're capable of, you are never going to look at your normal body the same again. You are always going to think you're fat and overweight and just out of shape, even though that was you probably look way better in your off season with a little bit bigger, like a little bit more like muscle and a little bit more thickness and a little bit more fat to you than you did look before you started competing in your journey. But people don't look at that. They look at what they look like when they're stage lean only. So they're like, oh, I don't look stage lean, so like I don't look as good. And that's not the case at all. It's just, you're never going to look at yourself the same again. So that's something that I feel like is not talked about enough in this industry, because once you get past that point of leanness, there ain't no coming back. You are always going to look at yourself and think that you are big when those lines are not there. And it's not even the case. I mean, I have people that I look at and I'm like, your shape is insane. I'm like, oh my God, like how we've even been able to put this muscle on with keeping the shape. Like, yes, you have body fat, but like you are not fat. Like you look muscular. You look like healthy. You look strong. Like those things are amazing to have. And it's like, people only think about what they look like when they're lean. It's just like one of those, it's so mental. It's like a mind.
I would say it is more mental than anything. And from experience and from other girls that I've talked to and my clients, this is what messes with people a lot, is when we do start showing our progress. I'm very, very open with my progress and my journey. So everyone on social media, my family, my friends, everyone sees the pictures I post. So when I do put on a little bit of extra body fat, or when I am a little bit thicker in my off season, you have to have that thick skin that people are going to say stuff. People already have in their mindset how lean you can get. So they expect you to look like that all the time. People who don't understand the sport. So understanding that their opinions, their comments should not matter whatever season you're in. It's your goals and your journey, and you do have to have thick skin if you want to continue in the sport season after season.
Yeah. Man, but my post shows, shit, what's a reverse diet? I've never done one of those. Dead ass.
Goes to Mexico.
I've been competing like 5 years now, and I've done no reverse diets just because
you hold your weight really well. Both of you guys hold your weight really well.
But it's just I've never had the guidance for it. So for me, I'm one of those people who would put on like 20 pounds in a week. So imagine that, I've never reversed.
So 10 pounds on one cheek and 10 pounds on the other cheek.
That ass though, like ass colossal, okay? Like on another level. But like that for me, like post show at first, like when I didn't realize like what was happening, like my first prep, like my first year competing, I won my pro card my first year competing, and I did a lot to get to that point. I was doing a whole lot of cardio, eating like almost nothing, and my rebound after that was unbelievable. Like I was up 20 pounds in like 2 or 3 days, and the mental fuck up was like
it's mental. You're like, that scale messed up. The scale is like, wrong.
What's going on here? Why does my skin hurt? My skin hurts. Like the water's pushing up against.
I literally have gained 13 pounds in 2 days after my very
gained over 3 days. I did gain 15 or 18 pounds. I said, holy shit.
That shit hurt.
Holy shit.
It was not
my first or my second reverse or my second post show is when I first started dating my ex. And so it was the first time we were able to eat together. First time we were able to go on dates. So we just kind of ate the world. And I did not care. I was like, dates. We work so hard. And then I was like, okay, we need to make some chicken and rice. Maybe not even rice. Chicken and vegetables.
We need some health up in here.
What is health?
So yeah,
flying after eating post show is horrible.
Yeah. Thing is, after that though, I was like, still to this day, like that was my first prep in 2017. All right. And if it's 2022 now, like I just started prep and I didn't reverse after the Olympia at all. I did for like 5 days, and then I went to Mexico, and then life continued to happen, and I was like, fuck it. Like, fuck it. And Jamie was like, hello. Are you gonna check
coaches know, because you go from like, I want to check in every day into the show, look at me every day, and then post show they're like, hello, where are you? Hello from the other side.
Dead ass. I was like, man, but if I like, honestly though, I can't wait to like actually do a proper reverse diet so that I don't have to like go through those like mental up and downs. Like I don't necessarily anymore in the last like 2 preps that I've done where like if I'd gain weight and then start prep again, like I was like, I know what I'm capable of doing. I'm gonna drop the weight. Like it ain't nothing. I dropped 20 pounds in 6 weeks before, and I was like, look, and I was like, look, but I swear to God, that's never gonna happen again for me. Where I did 10 minutes of cardio. At like 10 minutes cardio, had a 1,500 calorie cheat weekly, dropped 20 pounds in 6 weeks. I'm like, never again. Like I can barely drop a pound now, dude.
Now. I do 75 minutes cardio and I can't even drop a pound. I'm like,
my weight goes up. I'm like, what?
Man. I know. I'm like, I'm doing everything and I'm still gaining weight. What the fuck?
Dead ass. I'm like, what the freaking wrong?
Moving the scale all over the bathroom.
Seriously, I'm like, it's just the spot. It's just the spot.
The batteries are broken. I need a new scale. Amazon Prime.
We have like 17 scales in the bathroom. I step on every single one.
I literally have 5. I have 5. Like this one's lower. Okay. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer to go to the bathroom before actually weighing myself. Okay.
Oh my god, dude,
so stupid. I'm done.
You're wiping your eyes, but I can't even see because you have a big eyeball in front of your face.
I'm crying, but y'all can't see.
Okay, let's do Aussie questions. Okay, we were just talking about this. What is the most cardio and least amount of food you've had to do and for how long in a prep? Gosh, we've done so many preps. This is so.
Ooh.
Okay, the one that was going to get my pro card, like when I was getting my pro card, I was probably on like 400 calories, 2.5 hours at level 20 on the Stairmaster for 3 weeks going into my pro card. And I got, the thing is, that's fucking crazy. And I only got second at nationals. Imagine I didn't do.
And that wasn't even.
Imagine I did 5 minutes less of cardio. Bitch would have gotten third. So bad.
You had 1 extra gram of rice.
Fuck. If I would have 410 calories, bitch would have been done for. But that's the lowest and the highest I've ever done. But I haven't been at that point ever again. Like since then.
I'm trying to think. Was I even alive by that time? I think it was 2 hours. No, it was more than 2 hours. It was like a 90-minute and a 90-minute. So 90 fasted, 90 or 100 post. And then I think I was on like 500.
That was insane.
And that was including trace carbs from veggies.
Shredded.
No, and I actually looked really bad.
Really? That was during your shredded seasons? Oh my God.
No, my shredded seasons are when I get past show 1. So that was, I won't go into it, but I was only with that coach for a very short amount of time because there's a lot to do with that. If you're on that low and you're not looking your best and you could look better, there's a point where you need to start feeding.
Mm-hmm.
So if not, then you're just gonna look like a flat, watery mess.
Yeah.
And once I get to that deficit, and then I can start feeding up into show and start like tapering back on cardio, so the inflammation isn't so high. That's when I get tight. That's when I get hard. But yeah, that's the lowest and the highest. What about you, Ash?
There's 2 times actually. All pro level. It was my amateur. Damn, I could get lean. I think I did 30 minutes cardio a day. And I would just walk on treadmill. Like literally it was so easy. And then it was never like consistently ramping it up when I was an amateur. It was always, I did the exact same thing the entire prep and I just got lean. It was like, I never changed anything. I just had.
You started at a set cardio?
Yeah, I started at 30 and I ended at 30. It's like nothing changed. Like I literally I kept everything the same. My diet was the same the whole time. I just had a meal plan. And I think the only thing that they changed in my meal plan was I think that they took out my ground beef and changed it for a leaner source of protein 2 weeks out. That's pretty much it. That was the only thing that got changed. And I had refeeds every single week. I had burger refeeds and I had whatever I want on my burger. So it was everything was my body it was fresh, I was new to this industry. My body was so fresh that it just responded incredible. Now that I've been doing this for so long and I've had multiple, off seasons and having to diet back down and obviously your body's going to change after you do this so many times. And obviously as you get older, I'm going to be 30 next Monday or this coming Monday. So it's
21 forever. 21 forever.
So yeah, as your body gets older, it does kind of fight back a little bit. So the Olympia prep, or the first prep that I ever had to do anything that I actually suffered, was, 2019, whenever I did my pro debut. Everything was perfect up until that very last show. So I did Iron Games. And then between Iron Games, I had 3 weeks until my next show, which was my last show, which is the Dallas show that we competed in together, Marissa. And in between those 3 weeks was hell. That was probably because I was eating nothing, literally nothing. I was doing 2 hours of cardio and eating nothing. Egg whites and rice cakes basically for every meal. And then after that, I reversed and I had a really good, couple, I was back in prep again, right after that. And then everything was fine up until then. And then this year or last year, 2021, the Olympia prep, awful, just awful. It my body was just fighting me so hard. I was just not, and I had way too much fat. I lost muscle. And I started, my starting point was 75 minutes of cardio every day and it just went up to, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And I was doing, actually I was, 2.5 hours. And then my food was non-existent. I had like, for the Olympic, it started at like 30 grams of fat and 130 carbs. And I was increasing, like my weight was going up. I was like, okay, we got to cut this off. And then, she gave me 2 high days. So like, it was like a carb cycle, but it wasn't working. Like I felt like I would just continue to gain weight. So I told her, I'm like, we need to just cut the high days. Like I just can't, it's not working. And then I basically, I just said, just kill me for the rest of the prep. Just like, you have to, like,
take me.
So I basically just dropped my fats to like nothing. And I had, no carbs really, like 50 grams of carbs. So protein, it was just like
only protein and veggies.
Protein and veggies.
So I did that for like 14 weeks. And by the end, I was even more. Like I never got to a point where I was like, yeah, I can reverse it. No, I still was eating nothing all the way into the show. Like I did a 14-week prep for the Olympia, and I swear I killed myself the whole time. And I just started seeing progress like 3-4 weeks out. And that's when I got COVID. So it was like, it literally was just like the worst prep I've ever had.
Damn.
I mean, and people do have to realize it's like, that's why you do reverse, so that you can have a better starting point. And not every prep is going to be the same. Like your prep right now is so much easier than that Olympia prep. And it's like, we don't suffer like this every single time, but if we need to do all gas, we will. It's a mental fortitude to like, be like, okay, tell your coach to drop me. And I've told Jamie, like, we need to go lower on carbs. We need to go higher on cardio. And that comes with like experience. We've all been competing. We've done multiple shows. We know that we need that extra push to make it in time. And, as you guys, people who are listening, when you prep longer, when you have multiple shows, you start to really know your body, and you start to know when to push and pull when it gets closer to your show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we have time for another question?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do you guys have any other questions that came up on yours? I have one more on here.
Let's do it.
Let's do, where'd it go? Okay. Things or advice on first-time competitors, so how they get started. So stuff like how to find a coach or a team, questions to ask a coach when in a consult, how to find a show, all that stuff to expect for finances and pricing.
Oh man.
Wait, what?
Financing.
Basically, what
does a first-time competitor need to know, essentially, in terms of how to find a coach? Like, pretty much, what questions to ask?
Basically, anything advice for a first-time competitor on how to get started.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole point of having a coach that knows what you need, because they'll do everything for you. So
yeah,
I always say, if you want to be like, if you want to climb in this industry as a bikini competitor, go to a bikini coach. Like, don't go to some freaking bodybuilding coach. And it depends, but it's like, if you go to a coach that like only coaches guys, and you're expecting them to like give you like a suit color and makeup and tanning and all that stuff, like that ain't happening. Trust me, it's not happening. So if you want to take this seriously, go to a coach that does majority of bikini competitors that can help you with all of that stuff, because that's gonna be able to like, it's just too hard to do it on your own when you don't know what you're doing. Like, it's just too hard. There's too much out there. You need to find somebody that has resources for everything. Like for me, when I get on a consult call, I'm like, I got you. Like, I literally got you from head to toe. Whatever you need, I have you covered. Like, I've been doing this for so long. I do it for all my athletes. I send them to the best makeup person. I send them to the best tanning place. I tell them exactly how they need to have their hair, because I know what they're looking for in the bikini industry. It's like, all of these things are huge. Presentation, the way that you have literally your polish from head to toe, like all that stuff makes a huge difference. So yes, you can get a coach that gets you in shape, but if you don't know all the little details and all of that stuff, and they don't know how to help you, you can literally just screw yourself up, and you could not even place as well as you thought, or you can miss your pro card because of the little details that you're missing. So that type of stuff is really important. That's why I stress so hard. Like, why are you going to a coach that doesn't even do bikini? Like, it makes no sense. Like, just because they can get you in shape, there's so much more to that. Like,
well, essentially, it's like, do your research, and that's what you're saying. It's like, if you're interested in a coach, look at their athletes. Are they majority bikini? How are those bikini girls doing on stage? How do they look on show day? I'm not saying it's easy, but many coaches can get you lean. They can get you from point A to point B, but can they bring you to Z? Can they put the whole polish together? Will they sit in on suit consult calls with you to make sure that the suit looks good with your skin tone and your hair? So yes, exactly. And it's like bikini, there's so many fine details that go into your presentation that first-time competitors don't know. So having a coach who's going to literally hold your hand with at least the first process with it, not like eating your meals, but hey, make sure you have your makeup, your hair, your tan, your suit, all looking good, not clashing, all that good stuff.
Yeah. And I would definitely get like let's just say, you're interviewing coaches or whatever, have a list of questions that you have for that coach. Like, if like, man, I have no clue where to get a suit. I have no clue who's going to do my makeup. I don't know any of this stuff. Like, I really need help. You need to write down a list of questions so that way you can ask the coach. And if they're sitting there like they have no clue and you can tell that they have no clue, then I probably wouldn't hire them. That's just my 2 cents.
Or if they pretty much push it off on you to do it yourself.
You
can find a coach, or you can find a posing, or you can find a suit, or you can do it essentially yourself. Or since you said, there's resources for that, that shouldn't be what your coach is overreaching like your whole prep. That should like essentially be like, considering your entire success on show day, all the little moving parts, the little things that really matter. And also professionalism. I think that's something that needs to be, talked about, is because there's a lot of coaches out there that do coach bikini and claim to have such a, eye for it, or that they know the details, which they could, but you have to also consider the level of professionalism that you may want to deal with or be associated with. So those are things to look at, maybe talk to athletes who are on that team or may have left that team. What's the process of, especially an athlete who leaves a team, ask them, what's the process of you leaving the team? Like, how was that? Was it taken care of, a certain way, X, Y, Z? So you know what you're getting yourself into at the end of the day, because it's very important, the nature of professionalism that a coach exhibits as well. Like, what is their rapport with the industry? How in tune are they with the industry? Do they attend and actively participate as a coach within the industry? Are they giving back? I personally like to see, especially if they're a big team or something like that, are they contributing back to the industry and like, doing things that make the industry grow as well? So those are,
and it's like, what's your return on investment? If you are going to invest your health, your well-being, your time, you're all into this prep, what's the return on investment with the coach and team that you're affiliated with, essentially? And then obviously, like, price for like finances, it's expensive, guys. This sport does not give you anything back as far as money. It's a very self-rewarding sport, but it's an arm and a leg.
Like,
especially when you start competing at national.
Your first show, like, if you're like slightly cutting corners, like, I don't like to say that because you shouldn't at this like level, this industry, like, not anymore, not this day and age. Back in 2017 when I started, you could
can't get away with anything anymore.
No.
Back in 2016, you could
get away. I wore a plain ass bikini. Yeah, I wore a plain ass bikini at my first national show and got 4th place. You don't do those things today.
You can't do that no more.
But you're gonna pay at the very minimum, I would say, like $1,000 to $2,000 per show. Depending on the level of show, if you have to travel, what kinds of expenses you have, such as hair, tan, makeup, the suit, posing sessions, coaching fees, registration fees, NPC or IFBB cards, different things like that, tickets for the show if you have families coming to the show. There's so much food to pay for when you're at the show if you have to buy any food outside of what you prep. So much things to consider that really go into this. That's why I personally say, it's like, it's going to be such an investment on your end outside of just the coach fee. That's why choosing a coach who's going to have your back and cover all the details for you so you don't waste your time or money. Because you could pay a low fee for a coach, but you could be paying that low fee for 2, 3, 4 years, or you get with the coach who knows what they're doing. There may be a little bit more. However, you're gonna get your results within 6 to 12 months. You know, you might pay a little bit more per month, but you're going to see results faster, or at, you know, the process is going to be a little bit more in tune to what you need it to be, versus wasting your time for 4+ years with somebody. And at the end of that 4 years, you end up paying what you would have paid somebody a year's worth, or maybe a year or two worth, versus that 4 years. I look at all those things, you know, when considering, you know, a coach or somebody at the end of the day.
Yep, 100%. And if somebody's cheap, there's probably a reason, and they're probably gonna like ghost you.
Yeah.
They're probably like, literally, you have no clue how many times I hear when I got on a phone call after their show. I'm like, okay, so how was your reverse process? Did you reverse? How did that go? Kind of explain it to me. Like, oh yeah, my coach just ghosted me after the show, so I didn't
like,
and it's like, I bet you it's because you probably weren't really paying them that much, and they probably were just like, bye. And that happens a lot. So you just need to be careful, because if you are putting in the money for something, that coach is really going to take care of you for sure.
Yeah, your coach at the end of the day should care about all of the things, like your training. Like if your coach is just writing you diets, you should ask, you know, okay, like what else? Like there's more than just dieting. Your coach should really be overseeing what you're doing, diet, training, cardio, posing wise, at the very least, overall presentation wise. Like they should be asking you at the end of the day, what is your overall look going to be encompassing? Who's doing your makeup, your tan? If they're not asking these kinds of questions, and they're just like fishing you out a diet or just a basic plan, and not actually being like, we need to change your body, like telling you what they're going to do at the end of the day to bring you to your best. Like when I got on my very first consult with Jamie, she assessed my physique. She told me what she felt we needed to work on and how we were going to accomplish that. I didn't get that, you know, previously, you know, the how-tos. It was more so just do this, just do as I say. You can be a person who's like a client that's like, I'll just do as you say, but you should also have at least in the back of your mind, like, what is this person's plan for me? What are you envisioning for us, and where are we going? So I can see that vision too, so I can understand the why behind this. It is okay to ask why. I was told a lot in my previous coaching experience to pretty much that they like the fact that I was previous military, because military people just do as they're told and don't ask questions. No, ask questions.
Not you.
I ask questions now, and I love the fact that my coach is always very, you know, responsive, and, you know, just always open to educating me at the end of the day. And that's what your coach should do when, especially when you're new. If you're new to this process, your coach should be educating you on the process and what the industry is all about.
Yeah.
And that's what's like, a coach should always be teaching you, so that when you're done with your plan, when you're done with prep or any type of program, you can walk away and 5 years from now still be able to apply whatever they taught you.
Exactly.
But going back to like the finances, this is one thing I tell girls, like, and it's good that we're talking about how expensive it is that the stage is always going to be there. If right now you're not financially sound to commit to a prep fully, it is okay to take a step back, wait till you have the finances. You should never be behind on a car payment, not be able to pay your rent, if to compete for a medal. Like I tell people, the stage is going to be there. You can always prep, but take care of your priorities first. Because if not, your prep is just going to be extremely stressful if you can't make payments for your everyday living situations.
Yep.
Deadass.
That's a big thing.
That is a big one. Yes.
Good stuff, girl.
Had to throw it in there, but I think it is 1 hour and your girl needs to go to the gym.
I know, I gotta go do some sprints.
Do some sprints. Run that butt off.
I swear to God.
Give me some, please.
I know. I still got a second round of cardio to do.
Girl, you know, we're going to Cuties next week. I still got a presentation to make. I got my whole power.
It was like an hour long.
I got a whole hour to present. I'm like, why are you making me speak a whole hour. I still got to make my PowerPoint and shit.
Just start posing for like 30 minutes and just be like, this is a routine. This is another routine you can do. And any questions? All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This is episode 2, and we are out.
Subscribe and comment.
Subscribe.
Don't forget.
Yes, comment, like, subscribe.
Thumbs up. Later.
Are we taking a screenshot? I don't know how to end this.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah, I gotta end it on my
Someone else take it. I don't know how to do this.